Hello, my name is E.C. Hazel, and I am the Dual Enrollment Coordinator at the Technical College of the Low Country. Today, I'm going to go over the ins and outs of dual enrollment and what it means to be a dual enrollment student, what is expected of you, the ins and outs, the do's, the don'ts. Okay. Today, I may come across as a little blunt in my presentation, but please know that it is coming from a place in which I want you to be successful, okay? Everyone at TCL is here to help you. We want you to be successful. And so I may be going over some topics that are very, very serious and again, seeming blunt in my conversation, but please know it's out of, the kindness of my heart that I want you guys to do well as dual enrollment students, okay? Just before we get too far in, I wanted to go over, there are 3 types of learning opportunities for students at TCL right now. Obviously, our face-to-face courses are not happening, and so we are using 3 different types right now. Our first is a full virtual, which most of the dual enrollment students are. Basically, anything and everything will be done online only. Okay. Our second one is through the synchronous option, which is where courses are, of course, online, but require a lecture time. For example, Mondays and Wednesdays, 1 to 2:21. Then that student would need to log in during that time and watch the lectures. Lastly is the hybrid option. For those of you who may not know, there are no dual enrollment students currently in hybrid courses, so that is not a concern. Hybrid would require a student to go to a campus 1 day a week. So thought I would go ahead and mention that. So we're going to move right along to what is a course syllabus, okay? Course syllabus is out there for students right in the beginning of the semester. You will go ahead in and get that course syllabus that shows everything and anything and everything to do with the course, from the instructor's contact information to what is due on the last day of class. I mean, you're going to know final exams, papers, quizzes, assignments. It is going to be out there. I always recommend to students, I know for me, I always would have an agenda and keep those special dates, important dates in that agenda. As I tell students all the time, each of your instructors are going to treat their course like your only course. So it is important to stay very organized. And you will be able to access that via your Blackboard account. And I will be getting into where you can locate that momentarily in this presentation. Okay, moving on to our attendance policy. In order to make sure, excuse me, in order to make sure that you are following all the proper procedures, it is very important that you understand your attendance policy within each individual course. Now, I'm going to speak on face-to-face courses briefly. Obviously, we are not currently in a state where face-to-face is an option, but if and when the college does open back up to the public and we can start having face-to-face courses again, it is important to understand that you generally have 3 days to miss within a course. That seems to be the standard for instructors. And that includes sick days. There are no doctor's excuses or things like that within college courses. Now, please keep in mind that your instructors do understand that life happens. You could get a flat tire. God forbid, but if you were to get sick, or if there's a death in the family, they understand that things happen. However, please keep in mind that while they are understanding, they are not stupid. So the dog ate my homework thing does not work in this situation, okay? So obviously, again, I'm speaking to face-to-face. While we're on that face-to-face topic, if you miss multiple classes, you could be dropped from the course. If you play a sport, I know right now times are a little uneasy. We're not sure kind of where we're going with high school sports, but if you find yourself in a situation down the road where you are playing a sport and it could conflict with your course, please know that your instructors are not required to allow you to miss for an athletic event or practice. Okay, they do ask that you are open to them communicatively, or communicative, and that you let them know what's going on. Hey, a few weeks before the event, let them know, hey, this is happening. Is there anything I can do? Make up an assignment, notes. What can I do? They prefer that. They do not prefer the day of or the day before. Okay, so please keep that in mind. Make sure that you are aware that TCL's calendar and your high school's calendar is not going to align. So, like, obviously the Christmases, the Thanksgivings, those holidays, obviously we both get. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you, if you are planning to attend courses in the spring, you will not have the same spring break as TCL. That the high school will have a different break. So make sure that you understand that if we happen to be in a situation where face-to-face is an option, that you are going to be required to be in the classroom doing your work. So, but go back to how things are looking at the moment. Obviously with it being virtual, it is important to understand that you have 10 days to log into a course. Okay, if you do not log in within those 10 days, you will be dropped from your course. Okay. So very, very important that you make sure that you log in. You should log in that first day anyways, but if for some reason you don't get in there until day 5, you have some time as far as getting dropped, but you're going to be very, very behind. So it is very important that you pay attention and know that logging in is very crucial for an online course. Okay. Moving on to online, or more into the online, your Blackboard account is going to be the account that you use for everything when it comes to online courses. It'll be where you submit your papers, your assignments, you take tests, quizzes, watch a lecture if your instructor is having those lectures. So make sure that you go in and have that set up. Like I said previously, we will be going into that in a few minutes, and I'll be showing you how to set your Blackboard up. Okay. Just making sure that if you miss a few assignments in there, it could very well result into you being dropped from the course. So be mindful of that. Being respectful. This one is a very big one that I know before I started with the institution, I didn't realize how much I would have to touch on. But I'm going to say this very bluntly, and so you understand. Your instructors owe you absolutely nothing, okay? That sense of entitlement that I have found with some students, it does not work in this situation, okay? Coming into your courses as a dual enrollment student, understanding that, you're a high school student, yes, but you're going to be treated like a college student, okay? And they expect respect just like you do. So you give your instructors the respect they deserve, and they will gladly give you that same respect, okay? We definitely do not want anyone coming in thinking that they are above following rules. Your instructors, especially if it's face-to-face, they will kick you out of the classroom in a heartbeat without even thinking about it, okay? Maturity is very, very, very much required in this setting, as a college student. I always say this, that, yes, we're not in the face-to-face right now, but you are going to be in courses with students that are working full-time jobs. They have a family at home. They are here to get the quality education. They're paying for it, and they want to make sure that they get the quality education they're paying for. So just keep that in, be mindful of others around you, even if it's, in your online courses. I know sometimes course or instructors require you to do discussions with your fellow classmates. So please keep that in mind. I tell this story all the time. A few semesters ago, I had a student, or 3 students, who felt that the instructor was the reason they didn't do well on an assignment. They misunderstood it, didn't get a good grade. Instructor had every intention of allowing them to continue, or to retake or I think it was that paper, so to redo the paper. And each student came to that instructor individually and told them that it was their fault, as in the instructor's fault, that they did not do well on the assignment. And as you can imagine, the instructor was like, because they came into the instructor's office and said, it's your responsibility and you have to fix it. And as you can imagine, the instructor did not take that well. And they were not able to redo the assignment, and no one in that class was able to redo an assignment for the rest of the semester. So I use that story for you to know that be respectful in your endeavors while at TCL. Okay. All right. And also, there is no extra credit. Please do not ask your instructors that. They do not like when you ask that. So please be mindful of that. Okay. Grades, GPA. If you have an issue with your grade, it is important that you contact the individual instructor of that course. Okay. Like I tell students all the time, instructors are human beings. They make mistakes. You may have an A in your course. You know you got an A, and somehow it reflected as a B. It is important that you contact that instructor and try to work that situation out. Okay, you are more than welcome to email me, and then I will get you in, make sure you know that you have to contact your instructor. Now, if there are any parents watching this, make sure that you understand that it is the student's responsibility. I have in this, in the slide, it says you as the student. So students, mom and dad can't come up to the school and yell at the teacher to get your grade changed, okay? It is your responsibility. That's another big step that you're taking and taking on dual enrollment, okay? So big deal, all right? Parents, most of our instructors they don't want to talk to parents. They want to talk to the students. So please keep that in mind as well, okay? All right. As far as grades, or GPA, I should say, a lot of students think that their high school GPA and their college GPA are two different things. I just want you guys to know that it is all one big GPA, okay? So whatever you do while you are participating in dual enrollment does affect your high school GPA. All right, so you may be up for that scholarship or valedictorian, salutatorian, or even if you have been accepted to Clemson and you're getting ready to go, you mess up and you get a bad grade, and next thing you know, you've lost that scholarship. You're no longer valedictorian, salutatorian, or you may not be able to go to the school of your dreams because you played around. When you're accepted, it's always a pending acceptance until you finish up high school. So please keep that in mind when participating in dual enrollment and doing your work and staying on top of what you need to. The FERPA. FERPA form, for you parents that may be watching, this is very important in that the college is not allowed to release any information of a student to a parent if this form is not on file. Now, while your child may be under the age of 18, they are required to have one of these on file. It is a responsibility of the student to fill this out, not the parent. And so the student will put your name as the parent, and then once we get that on file, then if you were to call me or anyone at TCL, we'd be able to provide you with that information. Withdrawing from a class. So it is very important for you to understand the process that is expected of you to withdraw from a course. If you attend a public or private school, it's important that you contact your high school guidance counselor first, okay? If you are a homeschool student, you can, of course, contact me and we can work it out, all right? Do not just, dive off the deep end and drop a class without thinking about it, okay? We do not want that. There are quite a few penalties that could apply to you, and that's what I'm going to go over right now. So each of the dual enrollment students are required to take at least 2 courses in order to receive what we call lottery tuition assistance, okay? And what happens is at the college we have what we call disbursement dates. So basically that means that usually in February for the spring and October for the fall, lottery will stay on the students' accounts, okay? So, and I say stay, what I mean is, say your student comes in and they decide they want to drop a class after 2 weeks, okay? They're in 2 courses and then they go down to 1 course. Well, that lottery tuition assistance that they were receiving is now taken away because they are now down to 1 course, okay? Had they stayed in those 2 courses until after that disbursement date that I mentioned, they wouldn't be in the situation. So if they were to drop after the disbursement date, then they would not have a financial penalty. But if they drop before that disbursement date, then they will. Now that date is never, I'm never given a date to advertise or anything like that. That's something that I work with financial aid closely on to, see, okay, when is this happening? So that way students know that if they're going to drop, they either will or will not have a penalty. You know, it is important to understand this. I've had many uncomfortable conversations with parents and students where they owe $900 because they were withdrawn and should have stayed in the course, or should have, you know, taken a different approach, excuse me, to the way that it should have been handled. So please be mindful of that. Okay. On the other side is the academic penalty that the student could receive, and that is a W or WF. As you can imagine, a W, it's just a withdrawal. So if the student withdraws from the course and the instructor gives them a W, then that's what that means. It just shows up on their transcript, no harm, just that they were withdrawn. A WF means exactly what you may think it means. It is an F. Students, you know, it is up to the instructor as to what you receive. And so that's why, you know, the process is you talk to your counselor will talk to me. I will encourage you to talk to your instructor. During that conversation is when, you know, you ask your instructor, if I drop this class, what is my penalty going to be? And a lot of times, like I said, most of the time our instructors give W's, but I have definitely seen WFs as well. And, you know, no one wants you to get a WF. So just be mindful of you know, those penalties, those deadlines. I'll tell you, those that attend Beaufort County School District, Beaufort County does have a deadline of their own. So while you may be dropping and getting a W on TCL's end, it could be that you get a 50 on Beaufort County's end. So just be mindful of that. Check with Beaufort County to make sure that you know what deadline that is or date that is, so that way you know. Because we don't want anyone to end up in that situation. We want everyone to be successful, or either if they have to withdraw with a clean slate. I tell this story all the time. I had a sophomore a few semesters ago that decided to quit doing the work in his online course, was withdrawn, got a WF. Parents didn't know. It was not a good situation. So we do not want someone in that situation, which is why I always talk about it in this presentation. Transferring your college credits. Okay, obviously each of you are taking these courses to, one, continue with TCL after you graduate, or two, to transfer those credits to an institution of your choice. Okay, please know that it is very different from high school, and that the college does not send your transcript to the college of your choice. Mr. Hazel, I do not send your credit or your transcript with your credits on it to that institution. I get that question a lot around May. Mr. Hazel, why haven't you sent it? I don't do that. That is, again, one of those responsibilities as a college student. It is your responsibility to have that sent over. It does cost between $8 to $10 depending on how you request it. So, and I have provided the link for that in the presentation as well. So very important. I know underclassmen, you may not remember this. Parents, if you're on or if you're watching, definitely please keep that in the back of your mind. And seniors that are taking courses, it'll be even more important for you because it'll be fresh. Okay. All right, so paying your bill. Now, obviously, there are some school districts that do cover the cost of a student's student's tuition. So, if you are one of those students or parents, please disregard this slide. Okay, if you are responsible for paying your bill, you will be setting up your self-service account if you haven't done so already. I'll be going over how to do that in a few minutes. And what you can do is you will log in and you will pay it. What also needs to happen, and is we are in the process of doing that right now, financial aid is in the process of applying aid to students' accounts. So it could be next week before you see a reflection on your student's account. Please know that I will be sending out an email letting you know that it is able, that you're able to now pay your student's bill. Please know that dual enrollment students will not be dropped from courses for non-payment. The advertised deadline is August the 20th, so next week, but please know that dual enrollment students do not fall into that category. So very important for those that need to pay their bill. All right, books, okay. I will get out of the presentation briefly just to show you guys our Bookstore web page, so that way you can see if you are needing to pay books. Buy books. Now, obviously, there are certain school districts that do cover the cost of students' books. I know that Beaufort County School District is one of those. Please know that if you attend a Beaufort County School District school, or if your child does, that it would be communicated to you from the school to pick up the books. TCL does not administer the books to anyone, so, or give those out. All right. And then Bridges Prep is also another school that does that. So Selma Davis over at Bridges would be able to help your student if you are a Bridges Prep student or parent. But this is our bookstore website. I always like to bring everyone here so they can see. You can see down at the bottom that there is, here we go. This is what I was looking for. So books went on sale yesterday. You can see there are two options. One is to have them shipped with no shipping fees to your house, just like Amazon or any other company would. The other option is to pick them up curbside in front of the bookstore between 2 and 4 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So very important to make sure you go ahead and, if you are in the situation where you need to have your books ordered, that you go ahead and do that. You definitely do not want to wait until the last minute to do so, okay? All right. And we'll just go ahead. All right, so we will move on to accounts, okay? So the next thing is, and this is a very big one, is how to set up your different accounts, okay? The first is your student email. This is going to be your communication between anyone at the college and you as the student. All right, we do encourage you to use your student email. We do encourage you not to use those emails you've had set up since you were younger. A lot of times those go to instructor spam, and we do not want that, okay? And so then also, it is important to understand that in setting up your student email, that you check it, because a lot of times students just set it up and then they don't check. So your username is going to be your first and last name, no spaces, at my.tcl.edu, and your password is going to be capital TCL plus the last 7 of your social and an exclamation point. Make sure you put the exclamation point, because a lot of times students forget and then their password doesn't work. Once you log in, it will allow you to reset your password. Okay, moving over to Blackboard real quick. Blackboard and email actually have the same login. It's conveniently done. So if you log in with using the same device, then it saves your information. So I would highly, highly recommend you doing that. Okay, using the same device to make it easier. Lastly is your self-service account. It's the account that you'll use the least. In order to set that up, it is your first and last name, no spaces, and your password is the last 7 of your social. Okay, what you'll be using that for is to log in to view your schedule. So as you can imagine right now, it's just going to show that you are in however many online courses, and who your teacher is. But in a normal given semester before COVID-19, and hopefully, in the coming days or weeks, months, you'll be able to log in and see your schedule, where the building number, the room number, all that stuff. Okay. And then secondly, you'll be using self-service to pay your bill. So if you're in a situation where you need to do so, then that would be where you would do that. All right. Over in the orange box, you'll see where it says Get Help. That is the help desk number listed in there, the 843-525-8344. As much as I wish I was IT savvy, I am not. So if you need assistance with any of these accounts, please make sure that you give them a call. They have a very good turnaround time on getting people situated. So, in addition, we have the text alert listed. As you all are aware, we live in an area that faces the threat of hurricanes every now and again. We've had some snow since I've been with the college. Make sure that your child or you as the student go ahead and get that signed up. So that way you'll be getting the alerts for anything that may be going on with the college emergency wise. All right, we'll move on to important reminders. Basically what I did was I kind of composed some things I've already gone over just as a repeat. It does not hurt to hear it again. Make sure when you're emailing your instructor, please, please, please make sure it comes from your TCL email. Communication is very much key. It may sound very cliche in a situation like this, but it is so important that you are communicative with your instructors, okay? Your instructors, like I said earlier, they are human beings. They're average Joes, just like me and you. They are not going to bite you. You know what I'm saying? Do not be afraid of them. I have found where some students are intimidated by their instructors. They're here to help you learn. They're here to help you get it and be successful, okay? So I have students tell me all the time, well, I don't want to be that student that stays after class all the time. Please do. Please be that student that emails over and over and over to their instructors. You want to make sure that you get everything you can from your instructor to be as successful as you can in the class, okay? All right. It's touching on communication, students, I know that you're at the age where you want to get away from your parents, but it is very, very important that you understand that you need to keep them in the loop. I've had conversations with parents before where they didn't even know their kid was not taking classes anymore. So please, please, please keep your parents in the loop, keep your guidance counselors in the loop, keep me in the loop as well, okay? Going back to, utilizing resources, okay? The tutoring center is available virtually right now. Obviously you can't come to campus to our tutoring center, but there are resources available to you. Please, please, please utilize them. I don't know how many times I've had students who, I asked them, well, did you utilize our tutoring center? And they had no idea what I was talking about. So please, please, please reach out to them. And I have provided the link in this slide as well. It is important to note the first day of classes. You don't want to miss that. Classes start on Monday, August the 24th. So make sure that you are aware that your courses will show up in your Blackboard accounts, usually a day or two before. If you were to check, today, they're probably not going to be available because, we're still a week and a half out before classes start. So it may not be showing up yet. That's where it becomes important to check your self-service. I know I have a lot of students asking me, Mr. Hazel, why haven't you sent me my schedule? It's very different from high school in that we don't print schedules, we don't give out schedules. It is your responsibility, again, that responsibility piece, coming into play. You need to go in and log into your self-service account to view your schedule, okay? So definitely make sure you have your schedule, you know where it is, you know what your classes are, and be ready for August the 24th. All right, so I saved this slide for the end. Have fun, take advantage of it, take full advantage of it, okay? I joke all the time, you might meet your future husband or wife in these classes, but no, in all reality, take advantage in a positive way. We want you all to be successful here at TCL. Your parents want you to be successful, your counselors, your high school, we all want you to be successful. And that is why we're doing things like, meet me in this presentation. I want you guys to know what's out there, what's going on, so you are in the loop 100%, okay? Normal presentation, I've been offering, the option to ask questions. Obviously, in this situation, you can't ask me directly, but I am going to give you my login my email. So you can definitely reach out to me via email. My email is listed actually on here, but it's also, just so you know, it's ehazel@tcl.edu. Again, that's ehazel@tcl.edu. And you can definitely reach out to me. And yeah, we look forward to having you at TCL. And actually, guys, if you could hold on for me for just a second. Before I let you guys go. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. Sorry about that. So yes, what I was saying was we definitely want to make sure that you guys are in the loop and that, I'm here to help you. Again, gave you my email address. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to having you a part of our TCL family for the fall semester.